Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about something pretty huge for Crew 2. Something that's honestly changed the way the game feels for a lot of players, especially those who've been around since launch. Ubisoft just rolled out update 1.36, and yeah, this one isn't just your usual patch with a few new cars or bug fixes. This one brings a brand new mode that changes the very foundation of how you can play the game. It's called Hybrid Mode, and it's basically Ubisoft's answer to one of the longest running requests in the community, being able to play the Crew 2 offline. Now, if you've been playing this game for years, you know what that means. Since day one, the Crew 2 has always been an online-only experience. You couldn't even start the game if you didn't have an active connection. It didn't matter if you just wanted to cruise around, test cars, or do solo races. No internet meant no game. And that's been a frustration for a long time. But with this update, Ubisoft finally made it happen in a way that doesn't just flip a switch, but actually adds flexibility. They didn't make it purely offline, they made it hybrid. That means now when you start the game, you actually get a choice. You can launch it online, like always, or switch over to the new offline mode and play completely solo without needing a connection. So let's unpack what that actually means and how it all works. When you boot up the Crew 2 after updating, you'll get a prompt asking whether you want to start in online mode or offline mode. If you're connected to the internet, you can choose either one. But if you're not connected, say your internet's down, or you just want to play while traveling or on a laptop without Wi-Fi, it'll automatically launch offline. The key part here is how Ubisoft set up the save system for this mode. The offline version of your save isn't the same as your online one. They're totally separate, so you'll still need to go online at least once to export your current progression into an offline save file. That's basically a copy of where you're at, your cars, your money, your unlocked areas, everything you've earned so far. Once that's exported, it lives on your device, and you can use that offline whenever you want. The cool part is, the process is pretty simple. When you're online, go into the menu, find the export option, and that's it. It saves your entire progression into an offline slot. If you make more progress later while online and you want your offline save to match, you can export again, and it'll overwrite the old offline one with your newer data. It's kind of like a snapshot of your game at a certain moment. But there's a catch, and it's a big one that people need to understand clearly. Progress made offline doesn't sync back online. So if you go offline, grind for hours, buy cars, win races, and then later go back online, none of that offline progress will carry over. The online mode will just pick up from where it left off before you export it. It's a one-way street from online to offline, not the other way around. Now, that might sound limiting, but it makes sense once you think about how the game's backend works. The Crew 2 has a lot of online features, leaderboards, and systems that depend on Ubisoft's servers, so syncing both ways could have caused problems. Instead, they've made it simple and stable. You play how you want, without breaking the balance. And really, that's the core of what hybrid mode is all about. It's giving players the freedom to choose. If you want to play with friends, do PvP races, or compete in live summits, then online mode is still the way to go. But if you just want to explore, complete missions, tune your vehicles, or just cruise across the map without worrying about lag or connection drops, offline mode is perfect for that. Of course, there are a few things that won't work offline. Anything that requires a live connection is disabled. So no live summits, no crew features, no online leaderboards, and no PvP. You also lose access to the community-made tools like the race creator and livery editor. That means if you've got custom designs or want to use player-created races, you'll need to be online. And custom liveries don't carry over to your offline save, which might bum some people out. But on the flip side, everything that makes the Crew's world fun, the vehicles, the map, the events, the photo mode, all that stuff is fully functional offline. It's just you and the open world, which honestly feels kind of refreshing. Now let's talk about how this affects the economy side of things. Crew credits, bucks, and all that. When you export your save, it takes your current crew credits balance with it. So if you've bought credits recently or earned them through gameplay, those get saved in your offline version. But here's something to keep in mind. Some in-game stores, especially ones tied to vanity items or special bundles, aren't available offline. So if you want to grab any of those exclusive cosmetics or limited time deals, you'll need to do that while online. Then once you've claimed them, they'll appear in your garage and can be used in offline mode the next time you export your save. Basically, claim everything online first so your offline copy has the goods. And honestly, that's something I really like about how Ubisoft handled this. They didn't just throw in a basic offline toggle. They actually made sure players could still use most of their progress, purchases, and cars. They made it feel like an extension of your current game rather than a separate watered-down version. The whole idea seems built around long-term accessibility, which makes sense when you think about the Crew 2's age. The game's been out for over 6 years now, and the fact that it's still getting major updates like this says a lot. Hybrid mode feels like Ubisoft's way of saying, yeah, we want you to be able to keep playing this game for years, even if the servers eventually go offline. That part especially hits home for players who've seen other online-only games just vanish once their servers shut down. With this, The Crew 2 becomes one of those rare titles that's essentially preserved for the future. Even if someday Ubisoft moves on completely or the servers aren't around anymore, you'll still be able to launch it and play everything you've earned completely offline. And that's a big deal in a gaming landscape where so many titles depend on always online systems. Performance-wise, players have noticed that offline mode runs smoother in some areas, especially on older systems or unstable connections. No server syncs, no online desync issues, just pure gameplay. The world loads the same, traffic and weather still function normally, and the general sense of immersion actually feels better when you know there's no lag waiting to mess up your cruise through Miami or a speed run across the desert. As for the update itself, it wasn't a small download. On PlayStation, it was around 63 gigabytes depending on your region and console version. Pretty massive, but that's because this patch isn't just about adding hybrid mode, it's also rebuilding a chunk of the game's backend to support that functionality. It's a foundational update more than a content one. So even though you won't see a bunch of new cars or events listed in the patch notes, what you're really getting is an entirely new way to experience the same world. If you're wondering whether you need to be online at all anymore, the short answer is only when you want to sync progress or claim new items. You can play entirely offline once your save is exported, but if you get a new car pack or season reward from Ubisoft Connect, you'll need to go online to claim it in-game first. After that, re-export and it'll appear in your offline copy. It's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. The community's reaction so far has been really positive. For years, people have been asking for this feature, especially those who live in areas with spotty connections or who just wanted the freedom to play whenever they want. Some players have already been posting clips of themselves flying across the US in a plane, recording cinematic drives, or just testing out builds without the distractions of online traffic. It's like rediscovering the game in a new light. And there's another interesting side effect to this. Because offline mode disables a lot of server dependencies, loading times can actually be faster for some players. You get into the world quicker, transitions between areas feel smoother, and the whole experience feels more personal. It's like The Crew 2 finally gives you that you against the world feeling that the original Crew games tried to capture before everything went online. Now, you might be wondering what this means for the future. Does this signal the end of new online content? Probably not immediately, but it does suggest Ubisoft is starting to think about legacy support. The Crew Motorfest is out now, and that's clearly the focus for the franchise moving forward. But hybrid mode makes sure The Crew 2 won't be forgotten. It's a kind of soft preservation move, ensuring players can still enjoy the game even when the spotlight shifts completely. It's a respectful move that other publishers could learn from. For anyone who hasn't played in a while, this might actually be the perfect time to reinstall. It's kind of poetic in a way. The Crew 2 started as this massive connected world where you needed the internet to even breathe, and now it's matured into a game that lets you play entirely on your own terms. Whether you're connected or not, it's there for you. It's like Ubisoft finally understood what made the open world aspect so appealing, that feeling of freedom. And with hybrid mode, that freedom's finally complete.